until the next game rolls around. Fizz is here, boy. Nice. Good. Let's start a new game.
Yes, indeed. It is called Lothric, where the transitory lands of the Lords of Cinder converge. In venturing north, the pilgrims discover the truth of the old words. The fire fades, and the lords go without thrones.
So these are the pilgrims. I intend to go a little bit more into the lore behind Dark Souls as far as I can. And I want to go through the item description and everything and see what we can puzzle together.
The bell tolls, unearthing the old lords of Cinder from their graves.
Okay, Fitz.
Aldrich,
Thank you.
saint of the deep.
Okay. Sloppy McGoo.
Farron's undead legion, the Abyss Watchers.
Abysmal. Goopy McBob.
And the reclusive lord of the profaned capital.
Big boy.
Yon the giant.
Yon the big boy. Hello, Mademoiselle Danielle. Welcome to the stream.
Only in truth, the lords will abandon their thrones. And the unkindled will rise. Nameless, accursed undead, unfit even to be cinder.
Right, Danielle. See you around.
That ash seeketh embers.
Ash seeketh embers. Also, one thing I noticed when setting up the game is that the sound balance is all over the place here. So let me know when something isn't right balanced. But now here we are. We have our character, the character creation. That was the intro. Lots of hints on how things will go and what kind of people, monsters, and other things we will meet. Yeah, and as I mentioned, I have a general idea on what kind of class I want to play. And also, I try to go a little bit into the lore. I'm not an expert by any stretch. I just played the games and watched a bunch of videos. But I will try to...
Don't drop that
Bumperum!
hey. Don't drop that
Picklebee!
don't drop that
Bumperum!
hey. Don't drop that
Bumperum!
Look at my horse is amazing. Give it a lick. It tastes just like resins. Off a stroke of its money it turns into a plane. And then he turns back again when you tug on his.
Thank you so much for the resub, Squidgy. 14 months in a row. Squiddy, the first 14-month sub. How are you doing, Squid? Thank you so much for the resub. Oh my god, Google Germany, what are you doing? It was amazing. But as I was going to say, I will try to go a little bit into the lore and the background story and everything. Not an expert in this, but I will try to read most of the item description, etc., that go into the larger story and the world to maybe give us the chance to puzzle some things together. Because for those who know the Souls games, you know that there is where the story lies. When you took... So now the question though is what kind of character we want. So first, the starting class. We have the knight, mercenary. So this pretty much straightforward fighter build. Can be both in the direction of strength and dexterity. And by the way, for those who are not familiar with the game, this is just the starting sets of stats that you have. You can see my cursor, right? No, you can't. Now you can. That is just the starting set. You will be able to level up whatever you want. So you can pick anything. You can pick the, let's say, the sorcerer and go full strength build. Totally possible. So it's just about early game how you want to start. Speaking of resubs, Twitch just charged me for the resub, but I can't announce it yet. Yeah, Fizz, they changed how that works. So now you get billed on the time when you're when the month is over, but you announce it on the date when you last subbed. So if you subscribed on the 15th, you will be able to announce your resub on the 15th. Yeah, I didn't know. I heard that, I think yesterday in Luckless's stream or so. I'm not smart, no. I just cheat. So they just changed how it works. That is why you now have a different date for paying for your subscription and announcing your subscription, which is a little bit confusing, I feel. It's a little bit unnecessary, but okay. So we have the mercenary, which is more a dexterity-based build. We have a warrior that is clearly a strength build. Oh, looking sweet. We have the herald, a balanced build, a little more into faith. So the difference here is that the knight is clearly more into vitality and a little bulkier and very low on intelligence, faith, which are basically the sorceries. The herald, less endurance and vitality, but in exchange has a little bit of faith. Then we have the thief, the assassin here, sorcerer, pyromancer, cleric, and the deprived. So, since I said that I want to go a little bit into the story, let's read the class descriptions because they give away a little bit as well. You play the assassin for the Dark Souls board game. So how is the Dark Souls board game? An obscure knight of poor renown who collapsed roaming the land, sturdy owing to high vitality and stout armor. A mercenary and veteran of the battlefield, high dexterity allows masterful wielding of dual scimitars. Scimitars, I think. The first hour in the Souls game is always character creation. Buckle up for 4 hours finding the perfect nose length. No, I won't do that. I think we will go through the classes and everything, but the actual look won't be as crazy. Can promise you that. Hello, Koala. Welcome. How are you doing? And by the way, if anyone plays the game and wants to do some co-op down the road, I don't mind. I can tell you that already. This won't be a challenge run where I I don't know, do knives only or anything. I will play co-op whenever I feel like it. I will summon help if I want, and I will try bosses solo if I want. So it will be solely how I want to play it and how I have fun playing the game. And I know that it's, for some, they say, oh, it's lame if you fight bosses with co-op. I have a lot of fun doing that and also helping other people fight bosses. And if I feel like doing that, I will do that. So don't be mad at me if I fight your favorite boss not solo. The warrior, descendant of northern warriors famed for their brawn, utilizes high strength to wield a heavy battle axe. The herald, a former herald who journeyed to finish a quest undertaken, wields a sturdy spear and employs a gentle restorative miracle. By the way, you see that here as well. These different classes start with different equipment, obviously, and that can have an impact. He, for example, has a miracle that is faith-based magic for healing, which is always pretty good for if you're new to a game to have extra healing. But we get to that. A common thief and pitiful deserter wields a dagger intended for backstabs alongside a military-issue bow. He, for example, has a ranged weapon. I think he's the only one who has like a bow as in starting equipment. Can be useful as well. It's a game series with hardcore fans, but you can do what you want after all, and I look forward to watch it. Yeah, I feel like, as well, like it's just part of the game. I don't think there's any right or wrong. Some people get really picky about how people play these games, but I mean, that's the point, that you can play them in so many different ways. That is the beauty of it, right? An assassin who stalks their prey from the shadows favors Sorcerer's Edition in addition to thrusting swords. So he's basically the sorcery version of the thief, in a way. Sorcerer, a loner who left a formal academia to pursue further research, commands soul sorceries using high intelligence. The pyromancer from a remote region who manipulates flame. Also an adept close combat warrior who wields a hand axe. Cleric, a traveling cleric who collapsed from exhaustion, channels high faith to cast many and varied miracles. Then we have the deprived, naked and of unknown origin, either an unfathomable fool in life or was stripped of possession upon burial. So he has nothing, but also is completely balanced in his stats. So, again, for those who are new to the game, a question that often appears is, what character class would you recommend to new players? And I would say there are a few ones. I think the Herald is pretty good. Is probably the best class in Dark Souls 3 for new players. Why? Because he has pretty good armor for the beginning. He has a pretty good shield, especially for the beginning. He has a spear, which gives you a good range, which helps you to figure out the combat very easily or easier. And he has the miracle, the healing miracle, which gives you just additional healing, which is also good in the beginning. So I would say the Herald probably in Dark Souls 3 the best character to start if you are new to the game. Also, the Pyromancer is pretty nice. He was always one of the suggested classes in Dark Souls 1 if you are new, because he has a little bit of range, but the hand axe is pretty neat. I think the cleric also is nice, just because you have the extra healing, which just comes in handy. So I thought about, in terms of what kind of class I want to play. Is there no music? Okay, there's music. In terms of what kind of class I want to play, I want to do basically a faith warrior. I'm not quite sure if I do faith strength build or faith dexterity build, but either of these two, and I think that is why I will actually pick the Herald, because he has good faith to start, but also some balanced stats in strength and dexterity. Knights and sorcerer are also good choices. Good armor and strength or strong spells. Yes, if you really and I would say spells are a little bit finicky to figure out in the Souls games. The knight isn't a bad choice if you are not used to the games and just want to combat. He has a strong shield, strong armor, gives you good protection. I think he has the long sword or the short sword. But it's a decent weapon in the beginning. Herald looks cool. Yeah, I have never played as the Herald. So let's do that. The Burial Gift. This is an item that you can choose. There's one item that you will start your game with. So you can get the Life Ring. Ring set with a small red jewel, raises maximum HP. A Divine Blessing, Warm Blessed Holy Water, fully restores HP and cures ailments. Hidden Blessing, Pure Blessed Holy Water, fully restores FP. What FP is we will learn later. Firebomb, charged with a special black powder. An uncouth gift for the departed. A Fire Gem, material used to upgrade to fire weapons, more appropriate for a warrior than pretty trinkets. Sovereignless Soul, the Sovereignless Soul of one who slept beside you, used to acquire more souls. So this straight up gives you souls, which is the currency with which you level up, buy things, and like just the general currency for anything. Herald the Herald, that is pretty good, yeah. Burial, then rusted gold coin barrel, item for good fortune after death. Greatly increases item discovery for a short while. Cracked red eye orb, online play item, one use only. Become a dark spirit and invade another world. Or the young white branch of a young white birch. Perhaps an offering of peace can be used to blend into environment, but only once. I personally take the fire gem. It is the most useful in my opinion, because the life ring doesn't give you much HP. Isn't really worth it. This is a one-time healing item. Firebombs can be nice in the beginning. I would say for new players, maybe firebombs are not bad because you have then an additional ranged weapon. Hey AJ, how are you doing? Welcome to the stream. Yeah, please no backseating. I already said that I'm playing the game how I feel like playing it, and not else. But how are you doing, AJ? The also plain face of a commoner. Everyone has imperfection, but a commoner without flaws and a rare creature indeed. However, there's one thing I will say about backseating in this Dark Souls playthrough. As I mentioned, I want to have some focus on the story and lore in Dark Souls. I'm not an expert on it, but I want to figure it out a little bit better myself. So as I go through item descriptions and bosses, if you have neat little background information that doesn't spoil too much in the future of the game, like anything big, then share it with us. Talk to us about it. You can obviously name names of people and places. It's just something like, oh, around the corner is the next boss. It's always a little bit that is not so cool. Other than that, I think you can't spoil too much in these games. So you're all very much welcome to talk and discuss about the story and history of the Dark Souls game. I'm doing very well, AJ. Geraldo the Herald. Ooh. Yeah, bring on the name suggestions. I need your help there. The face of a warrior as if hewn from rock. It's been long whispered in jest, northerners are born weathered and old. The features of a true blue blood, blue of eye and fair of hair, a little reminder of Astora's former glory. Oh, so there's where we hear the name Astora the first time. Dragon Academy student, intelligent face with fine lines, often ripped for looking like a apprentice. Karim novice, the face of a cheerless cleric of Karim. Novice is used as something of a derogatory term for men of the cloth. Why does he has no eyes? No, I didn't die yet, Fizz. The larger eyes and mouth give his face a look of jubilation from Katarina, known for its zest for life and love of drink. An uncommon face defined by its narrow eyes and thin lips. Some praise it as the visage of true dragon, that is the serpentine traveler. Great swamp outcast, a unique deformed face, or perhaps merely ugly. Prejudice birth malcontents, and malcontents swarm to the great swamp. Londor, shadow of death. A lifeless face, almost that of a hollow. Londor is a realm of those hollow and old, or Irithilian. The feature of the old gods, as if from legend they say children born like this are fated to be taken to the Boreal Valley. And that's where we first hear about Irithil and the Boreal Valley, which we both will see along the way. I mean, this is Dark Souls. I'm sure you can die in the character creation screen somehow. True, I wouldn't rule that out, AJ. I'm trying to speed it up, Fizz. I think the Astora novel looks the most normal. So, did we skip leg day or not? Let's do a standard build. Age. Let's go mature. Okay, musculature. Oh, we're a buff old guy. Thick body hair. That's what we like. No, don't go into that. Skin color is fine. No. For face details. Features. Maybe a little bit less age. Face shape, that is fair. Hair. Maybe slightly graying is actually pretty nice. We're not on Final Fantasy, so no. Maybe not that. I always thought that every character in Dark Souls looks terrible, but mature like the stream, yes. Oh yes, Draco. Let's maybe this, like a just unkempt hair, some thick eyebrows, unibrow. Brow collar, black beard. I think that's fine. Pupils. That. Blue. Cosmetics. Nah. Tattoo. Right on the face. Not a fan of these, so yeah, I'm fine with that. See, that was super quick. So, Akko, have you played DS3 before? You seem to know some bits of the unique lore to this game. We are Argon now. Yes, yes, I have. AJ, I played through all the DLCs as well. I think I finished the game twice, but I'm not quite sure. One for sure, and second time at the very least got very far into the game. So I'm very familiar with the game, but it's been a while since I really played it. Which is also why I want to focus a little bit more on story and history and lore of the game, since I am familiar with the gameplay at least. So now the name. We need the name. I like Geraldo. Geraldo. The Heraldo. No! No! Okay. Geraldo. There we go. Oh, boo. It is always fun to see first reaction to the first person. Yeah, I know. But I mean, I would love to give that to you, AJ. But I can't. It's too late. Sounds like a cop-out. He just doesn't want us to realize how often he dies. I won't die. It just doesn't happen. But again, if people want to invade, if people want to play co-op, that you can surely do. Just let me know. Your death run. For now, so far it's still zero deaths. The bell tolls. I will act surprised for AJ. Cemetery of Ash. Also, let me know about the sound. So here we have our spear. Okay, getting familiar with the... Okay. I feel like the brightness is a little high. I have the brightness all the way up because usually for streaming it is a little bit darker for you than it is for me. So let me know if that works. I mean, to be fair, I am low level as well, so if you would start right now, you would be the same level as I am. I never liked playing with spears. How was the sound there, in terms of the enemy screeching, etc.? Optics are also good. Is the brightness still high? Should I lower it still a little bit? Oops. Maybe this 7? How does that look? So as you can see, we have the Estus flask there. That is our healing item, which only will be replenished if we sit at a bonfire. And we have the... Whoop, our chime. With which I can heal as well. That will use up the blue bar in the top left. The only thing that you can't see is my current souls, but I think that's not super necessary right now, so... 3 out of 10 for the enemy screech. It looks good. Could even be darker still. Yeah, since I'm playing over remote play, etc., I have to keep it like this, I'm afraid. If I go much darker, it gets hard for me to see. Okay, I'm a little bit rusty. Go. I will go through the equipment once we reach the first bonfire. I never went this way at the beginning. I always went the other way. These quick stabby stabs. So we learn the backstab. It's very loud, isn't it? Like the sound effects. Feels a little bit loud. Yeah. Oh, got him. I think this is better. Oh, we have both Dracos at the same time for the first time. Hello, Insanity. 6 sounds good, yeah. Is your shield a parry shield or a weapon art shield? Parry shield. I will go through the equipment in a second. Let's go first to the first bonfire. And then we go through the equipment. Look at that. That was a pretty cool moment. First time you come out there and then you see their big old bloody castle. Draco number 2 reporting for duty. Then you have here the look. This is a place we get very familiar with in the future. This is a very nice vista. That looks really good. Like if you stand here, it's pretty amazing. 4 Dracos now. Oh boy. Everyone is a Draco. So, let's light the first bonfire. It is lit AF. Get the rest emote. And now I want to go through the items. I know that is a little bit slow in the beginning now, but as I said, I want to go through the things. The Estus flask. The undead treasure these dull green flasks. Fill with Estus at bonfires and drink to restore HP. The journey of an undead has always traced the bonfires, and no journey of import has been made without an Estus flask. Dranks all over the place, yeah. Under treasure, these dull ashen flasks fill with Estus at bonfires and drink to restore FP. Quite befitting of an unkindled, an ashen Estus flask turns a bonfire's heat cold. Then we have the dark sign. The dark sign is the sign of an accursed undead. The dark sign returns its bearer to the last bonfire rested at, or the bonfire at Firelink Shrine. Spoiler! At the cost of all souls held. Carriers of the dark signs are reborn after death and eventually lose their minds, turning hollow. And so it is they are driven from their homelands. I'm still not convinced that you're not the same person. Fruit power. That is correct. Thank you. Good that we have a doctor here who can explain these things to us. Soul found in a deserted corpse, used to acquire souls. Let the fire keeper transform this sovereignless soul into a source of strength. For to be unkindled is to be vessel for souls. Then we have the Black Separation Crystal, the charm of farewell granted to banish undead. The crystal sends phantoms back to their homes or you back to yours. Beware of fickle use of this item if you intend to nurture relations. So that's an online item. Way of White Circle. Online play item. Restore the connection to other worlds. Those who engage in unjust deeds when in contact with other worlds will lose their connection to them. Way of White Circlets assume such sin as their own, but are found few and far between. Acting without honor will never be without risk. You have a dark side on your chest. Well, I would assume that you can't die. Or if you die, you will then awake in Firelink Shrine. Or at the last bonfire you've rested. Have you ever rested on a bonfire? If the answer is yes, you will awaken there. If no, you will go to Firelink Shrine. And we have the fire gem, a gem of infused titanite, found in rare cases inside demons. Used in infusion to create fire weapons. Fire weapons inflict fire damage but lose scaling effects. We'll learn more about that later. Miracle impaired as charity to those of little faith. A show of tolerance from the Way of White. Slightly restores HP. To use miracles, equip a talisman or sacred chime and attune a miracle at the bonfire. Common short spear that allows attacking with shield up, which is a special thing for spears. If you have a sword, for example, you can't attack while having your shield up. I only started watching during Mass Effect 3, but I enjoyed myself so much I decided to stick around. Dark Souls is a great one as well. Thank you. Glad that you stick around. Spears attacks are centered on thrusting, but can inflict high damage when timed with the end of an enemy swing. Then skill, that is a new thing for Dark Souls 3. Take a large step forward and make a single focused thrust to puncture enemies' shields and inflict damage. Then we have the Talisman. Talisman for casting miracles of the gods. Once a very common item among the ranks of the old way of white. Equip a talisman or a sacred chime to cast miracles. Miracles must be attuned at a bonfire before use. Skill Unfaltering Prayer temporarily increases poise while casting miracles. Preventing enemy attacks from interrupting prayers works while equipped in either hand. So, see, I for example, didn't know that talismans and chimes have skills as well. Learned something. Kite Shield, an orthodox metal shield. Medium shields are the most average of shields, providing a practical balance of damage, absorption, stability, and weight. Skill Parry, repel an attack at the right time to follow up. Yeah, so we can parry with that. Then we have the Steel Helm, said to be worn by Heralds of the Way of White. So Way of White, obviously, as you can guess by now, is some sort of religion, and one of the most common in the Dark Souls universe. Yes, Draco, it's way at the end, so you have to stick around through the entire game. Yeah, we'll have to have a closer look on that. When I first played through Dark Souls 3, I didn't play around too much with the skills because it was new and I'm old and I hate new things. So I will have to do that this time. Protection made of steel has excellent physical absorption, but is found lacking against blunt strikes and lightning damage. So the item description also gives you an indication of the actual stats. Here you see further strike, only 2.5 resist, but 4.4 against slash, 4 against thrust. Pretty good against magic and fire. Lightning, pretty bad. Then we have the Herald Armor. Steel armor with a pure white cape, the signature of Heralds of the Way of White. A protection made of steel has excellent physical absorption. Okay, that is same. Leather gloves said to be worn by Heralds of the Way of White who deliver commandments of duty. Fairly plain, but made to last on long journeys. Herald trousers, quilted trousers said to be worn by Heralds of the Way of White who deliver commandments of duty. The insulated material is effective against strike damage, nicely complementing steel protective wear. And that is everything we have right now. And now we will return back. Yeah, I think they have all some kind of things, but I didn't know that it also counted for talismans and chimes. Poke him! So my strong attack kills them with one big poke. I will go through the moveset in a second after I cleared this area once more. I never played a Dark Souls game. I played Bloodborne, but that was only my only foray into the genre. I mean, usually the Bloodborne is counted as a Souls game as well, since it follows very similar structures. So you're a little bit familiar with it, but all the more interesting if you jump in. Have you watched Dark Souls 3 before, or are you completely new on this game? So basically we need to ask our enemies, please strike my pants, but slash my body, not the other way around. Yes, we need to probably paint that on our little breastplate, so they know that, right? Because, I mean, maybe better even we draw that on our breastplate, because we don't know if they speak our language. Shot of the day goes to Blacko. Go check his channel out. I watched someone do a YouTube playthrough when it came out, so I kind of remember what to expect. Okay. Oh yeah, the moveset. So for those who are new to the game, every weapon has a large array of moves that you can do with it, and sometimes that varies a lot. Sometimes not so much. Some have even special moves that are just specific to that weapon. But here the spear has a pretty standard spear moveset. If the normal attack, just a short thrust, pretty quick. Also see that costs endurance. When my endurance is out on 0, I can't attack. Then the large one, that was the charged. If I hold it, that is the large one. If I just press it, oof, heavy attack. I can also have it in 2 hands. That looks like that. We poke like that. And the heavy attack, very similar. Long reach on the spear, as you can see. Good for them for enemy control. If I charge it, he does even a little step forward. Then I can roll and immediately attack. That looks like this. That is, if you do it with a heavy attack, both double-handed, it's an upward slash, which is interesting. So usually this the spear mostly does thrusting damage, but it also does some slashing damage with the right moves. Do not choke up on his spear so much in two-handed. Dark Souls 3 is the closest in the Souls series to Bloodborne in terms of pacing and combat. Yeah, they certainly took some inspiration from Bloodborne to Dark Souls 3, which in some cases is good, and in some cases is not so good, because you have sometimes very similar enemy encounters in Dark Souls 3, but you have not the same kind of movement, which makes it just a little bit weird. Running attack and step back attack. Yeah, you have the running attack. Very good. That's like just the stab. Running attack and heavy is a jump. And then you have the... that's the step back. And weapon art. How do I do the weapon art? Oh, I think it's like this. So that was... that costs FP. Can do that. That is this long thrust forward. Covers lots of ground. So. And here we have our first bigger enemy. It's a big old lizardino. Let's see if I can still... if I still know how to fight this guy. I think he's pretty... strong against... Oh, missed him. Oh, barely got my shield up. Ooh. That is clearly one of the advantages of having the Herald here, because we have a shield that blocks 100% of physical attacks. Which means that if he attacks me and I block, I take no damage. However, blocking an attack costs endurance. So, and if I run out of endurance, I can't block anymore. So that needs to be considered. But for now, that's pretty helpful. This is a tough enemy in the beginning, especially if you're not familiar with the game. But if you're familiar, you know that you have to take your time with these kind of enemies, especially in the beginning. Slowly chip away, not getting greedy. Poking him. Does this. So most other characters don't have a shield that blocks 100%. They block, for example, 60%, which just means that 40% of the overall damage that you would take if you would not block, you would still receive. Oh, there was a quick attack. I'm playing this very carefully here. You can do this later. Or not at all. It's thing that you have to do, but it gives you a nice little thing, as we will see. And also, excuse me if I don't look too much at chat during these fights. Ooh. Because this thing can happen if I do. So I will catch up with you after the fight. One way or another. Ooh. Because you can very quickly die in the game. It has a reputation for reason. Even low level enemies can quickly catch you in an attack, in a combo, or with multiple enemies. Oh, barely got the shield up. Got him! So, it's not like Dark Souls 1 anymore where it was way too easy to abuse. Okay, steep learning curve is just the modus operandi of From Software. Kick is a thing, yes. Well, let me see if I can do. There's a kick. I did it once. So yeah, pretty tough enemy in the beginning, but if you take your time, and especially if you have a good shield that blocks 100%, definitely manageable. I think that is also the biggest advice I would give new players to the Souls series. Take your time in the battles. Being greedy and wanting to finish a fight quickly always leads to death. You also have different stability. The stability is how much of your stamina is consumed by blocking an attack. Higher stability, less stamina consumed. Very good point. One of the key stats for shields. So we got this. It is a Titanite scale. Titanite altered by a soul. Reinforced soul transposed weapon to +4. Weapons forged by soul transposition can only be reinforced by Titanite of the same kind. In rare cases, crystal lizards devour souls, growing to monstrous proportion and leaving these great scales. So this was a crystal lizard. You may have seen those little tiny lizards before in Souls games, and this was a big one, so sometimes if they devour these, they turn into these big monsters. And this is also an example on how world building and lore works in the game that we wouldn't know that. We could guess that, but we have no knowledge of that unless we read item descriptions, and there we can find out more about enemies, the world, and etc. Thank you for the old squidge in here. I think the Knight class also starts with 100. Yeah, I think they have a 100% sheet as well. I think the others not. We talked about that in the beginning, about the classes, that Knight is a pretty basic warrior that has good armor, good shield, good starting weapon, if you don't want to figure out the spells right away. So, for now, we can only rest at a bonfire. More option will follow. But now... And as you can see, with a good shield like this, with 100% blocking, I can, at the very least of the first enemies, I can just block their first attack. They get a little bit stunned by it, or pushed back, which means then I can attack. Poke, poke. Poke, poke. So, now the first little secret, I guess. It's here. Can jump on this sarcophagus, I guess. And there is a Titanite shard. Titanite shard. Quick read. Titanite shard for weapon reinforcement. Reinforce weapons to +3. Titanite shards are a fragment of the legendary slabs. Titanite is etched into weapons to reinforce. So upgrade material. And then we can also do a drop attack. Learn about that. Ooh. We can poke this guy. And then... So now we have another shield guy, and we can kick his shield to get it out of our way. Enemies, of course, can do the same, especially later enemies, so be wary of that. We picked up some fire bombs. Have a quick look at that. Fire damage, which differs from physical damage, is highly effective against creatures of flesh, beasts, and other foes that might naturally have cause to fear flame. And again, that is how the game teaches you game mechanics. So if you're new to the game, you don't have a long tutorial. You have some messages on the ground that tell you something, but this very specifically tells you firebomb, use against beasts and enemies of flesh. People love to abuse spears in PvP in Dark Souls 1 since the hitbox and delays. Yeah, PvP in Dark Souls 1 was terrible. The level design, just by exploring, teaches you all sorts of different combat mechanics. I love it. It's a tutorial without being a hand-holding force tutorial. Exactly, because here it made sense. You were on the ledge. It makes sense that you explore that, and then you see an enemy down below. So even a new player would at least try to use a drop attack and then figure out how that works. Does the game have an... Yeah, you can play completely offline. I play it online right now. There are a few parts of the game where I might turn it off. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Because there are some annoying areas where there is a lot of online trolling. Let's put it that way. Master Draco Insanity 77. Perfect, Koala. So, oh, there's just a statue. Let's remove the sword. That is fine. Yeah, that must hurt. Probably no enemy. But let's hit this. Oh no, it's an enemy! It's a boss! Oh no, it's a boss! What should I do? Was it enough? Okay, now I have to figure out the boss again. That was not good by me. I'm a little bit rusty here. Okay. Let's heal. Ooh. Ooh. Right in his ass. Ah, I rolled too soon. Which is fine. Which is fine. Just need to trigger the combo. So two-handed does do more damage, but obviously you can't block with the shield then. Okay, okay. Oh my god, what is this? This is impossible to beat. What is happening here? Didn't expect that. Ooh. Little part of advice, this thing that grows out of his head is very weak against fire. So you could use the fire bombs here. And I would also say another part of advice is that stay close to it. If you get away from it, it has a bunch of nasty attacks, but if you stay close to it, it's way more